Hi, my name is Elliott. I'm a graduate student here at UCI in the Department of Logic and Philosophy of Science. I work in the philosophy of physics, so I'm interested in things like how has the idea of body or space and time changed over the past centuries, and technical issues like what's the correct space-time structure for Newtonian physics. So finding graduate programs in my area is actually pretty difficult. There aren't many people who work in philosophy of physics. So that being said, UCI is actually one of the best places in the world to study it. So when I was looking at graduate schools, I pared it down to a couple programs that were exceptional in the area. My department's one of them, and I came for visit weekend. And when I met the faculty, I got the sense that this place had a real community. Graduate students were treated like junior faculty members. They were very active in classes. They helped co-author papers with professors and other graduate students. And it felt like this was a warm place where people cared about each other. So an ordinary day as a grad student, there are three main things that I do. So the first is research, the second is take classes, and the third is teach. So usually my days are some mixture of that. When I was coming from my undergraduate, I thought that classes were the focal point of what I was doing, and it was actually a big shift to realize that now it's research. Like day one, you come into your program and you become a researcher in that field. That was a big shift for me coming from an undergraduate background. So like I was saying before, there aren't many places in the world that do what I want to do. So UCI has 3 faculty members, so that's actually a lot, who work specifically in philosophy of physics. And then there are other professors who work in broader areas like the history of philosophy, so that's something I'm interested in. Plus, there are other graduate students whom you can learn a lot from. So UCI probably excels in this area most because there are so many people who spend their lives working on it here. So most of the time I'm really busy. But that being said, there are a lot of times that I get to spend with my friends here. So some of the people in my department, they've become the best friends of my life. And so while we don't normally party or things like that, there are game days where we'll get together on a weekend after some big deadline has passed, and we'll just spend the day playing board games together. Or one of my good friends, I like to go to coffee shops a lot to study, and so he'll come with me, and we'll go to different places around the area and hang out there and do work. I've gone to conferences with some of the people in my cohort, and that's always really nice, knowing some people beforehand when you're going to a big conference with all these big shots for the first time, to have somebody that you're comfortable with. So overall, the program's really serious, and it can be stressful at times, but I feel like it's supportive and lighthearted, so that I find myself joking around a lot, and I feel light. It's a great community. So my department, it's logic and philosophy of science, and a lot of the times that'll be grouped in with the Department of Philosophy. So here at UCI, there are 2 separate departments, and I'm actually in the School of Social Sciences rather than the School of Humanities or something like that. So we end up having a strange place in the scope of the university as a whole. So the work is interdisciplinary, and it's not quite philosophy, it's not quite physics, and instead it's some mixture of the two. And there aren't only people who work in philosophy of physics. There are people who work in logic and philosophy of biology, game theory, philosophy of mathematics. So it's not the sort of experience where everybody's working on exactly the same thing that I am, but they're working on all sorts of different things in almost completely different fields. But that's really nice at times. I feel I'm not stuck with people who only think about one thing. I can talk to people about completely different areas if I feel like it. So one thing that I didn't know and really should have paid more attention to when I was applying to graduate programs was that while it's good to look out for programs that are the best in your area, you should really look more into what that means. So really you want to look for a great advisor. And so you look at different faculty members and you see, hey, this person does things that I'm interested in, or oh, I might want to learn more about this. That might be something I'm interested in. And the goal is really to find a great advisor and somebody that you want to work with, rather than just the best program in your area. So I lucked out, and those 2 things happened to coincide. But I I think the goal is to find somebody that you want to work with. So I guess the dream job is to become a professor after this. It's the only way that you can keep doing work in my field, and teaching is fun. So that's the dream, become a professor.